You know, I said earlier, I mentioned about the Surratt Hollow and learning how to swim at Bird Rock. What that was it's on the McGee Creek in the state of Illinois. And I really don't know how far, I don't know where it starts at, but it empties into the Illinois River. And it ran and still does, ran through the county where I was born and raised, and it ran right down Surratt Hollow through that area. And Bird Rocks was just an outcropping of rocks, and the water wasn't very deep, and my dad would take us kids down there to swim in the evenings when he'd get off work. And I remember one time, I'm kind of getting off my story here a little bit, but I remember one time I got done haying, helping the farmer hay, and oh man, it was hot weather in the 90s. I came home and went in the house, and I got a towel and a wash rag and a bar of lava soap, and I went to Bird Rock, and I got in there and I took my bath, and it was Saturday, my Saturday bath, I suppose. I got in there, and oh man, I washed all over and washed my hair with that lava soap, and went back home, got all dressed up, and went and picked up my girlfriend. It was out on the date, and the first thing she said was, "Boy, your hair's so pretty and shiny, what do you do?" Well, it was muddy creek water and lava soap. But anyway, that was at Bird Rock where I would go as a little child and learn how to swim, and then later on just recreation swimming. And the guy that lived up on the hill above them rocks where they got their name was Bert Ferrill. He was a fiddle player. Now, I don't know if he was a really, really good fiddle player or whether he just was good enough to get by for what they needed. But back in those days, they had house dances. They didn't have bars and things like that I grew up and started playing in when I was a young fella. But they had house dances, and my dad told me that Bert would get on a bony back old mule with his fiddle in a sack. He carried his fiddle in a tow sack, and he'd hang on to that sack, and he'd ride that mule for however many miles it was to the house, and they danced till almost, and sometimes till daylight. And Dad said he might be at the creek fishing or something, and he'd see Bert coming in on that mule from playing the fiddle all night long. And I guarantee you, if he got paid anything, it was less than $1. That's just, back in those days, he did it for, that was his fun, playing the fiddle. But Dad said of evenings when it was real quiet in the summertime, real still, he said Bert would be out in his front yard and he'd be practicing a fiddle tune or just playing. And Dad said they lived about 1.25 miles from Bert, and they could hear that fiddle. So they'd sit out in the front yard real quiet and listen to Bert play the fiddle. And Dad said he always remembered a tune that he called Waltz in D. Dad said it was a beautiful waltz. Wish I could have met him, but as I kind of turned out to be somewhat of a fiddle player myself, like to have met him, but I didn't. Just another story from around the Surratt Hollow area where I grew up, and I'll think of some more and tell you some more. Hope you enjoy them. A lot of good times. See you later.